Okay, America Ferrara. Your new show, Superstore, just wrapped up its first season this past year. You're coming back for a second season. Tell us a bit about the character that you play in the show.
So I play Amy on Superstore, and she is a longtime veteran at Cloud9, the store we all work at. She is, you know, she's a bit dry and a bit kind of she's weather worn, and she's lacking that luster of hope, and that that life is going to turn out great. She sort of has resigned herself to what her life is, sort of day in and day out. 10 years of being in this superstore, and I have an entire backstory for her that we haven't yet begun, or that we've begun to in small pieces reveal through the first 11 episodes of the show. But there's still kind of a wealth of who she is and where she comes from and why she's in this store and what her history is that we haven't yet explored. And I've got a whole, I have a whole story for it. I don't know how much of it is going to end up in the show, but definitely her role is in the show and in the store and with all these other characters is a lot of grounding. She's probably the character that's the most grounded in reality, and especially when it comes to her interactions with Jonah, who walks into the store with all this verve and optimism and hope for what his job at the superstore can be for him.
Yeah. What I found interesting in that first episode about your character is that we don't even know what your real name is until the end. I mean, you walk around with this name tag that doesn't have your real name on it. There's a lot of mystery there in that character when we first meet her. She's not quite who she seems to be in some ways. I think I'm making it sound like an espionage show, but I mean, did you find that to be an interesting thing about the character, the fact that she keeps a lot of herself hidden from people at the store?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely one of the things that I really liked about the character. And, I liked for all of the characters in the show, really, that, we are different people in our lives in different scenarios. And when it comes to your workplace, there are different levels of what you show, of who you are. And what's exciting about that is that these characters know each other in a very specific way. They clock in, they work with you, and we make all these assumptions about what we know about them. But the truth is, you could work with someone for 10 years and never ask the right question to get this little piece of information about who they are. And so through the season, it's really fun to just get snippets of that from, a lot of it comes out in Jonah's assumptions about who Amy is, and then us getting to kind of play with those. He assumes that she's a single mother when he finds out has a kid, and she says, "I'm not single. Why would you assume that I'm a single mother?" We do get to meet her husband in the first 11 episodes. And I think that's a little bit surprising, him and who he is. And what we do know is that she got pregnant at around 18 and, stayed with the father of her child. And so there's a lot about that relationship and the choices that Amy made that we still don't know about. And I find that fun and flirtatious, and to be able to kind of parse out what we know about these characters and to really play with people's assumptions, of what they think they know about these characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, I just heard an echo there. It's really great. I mean, one of the things that I love about your character is, I mean, you mentioned that she's weathered. She's very wise beyond her years, and I guess a part of that is having gotten pregnant at 18, and you've spent 10 years at this store, and there's no luster for it anymore for you. So there's a lot of really great things in there for you to play with,
Yeah.
So what were some highlights for you from these first 11 episodes? Moments that you feel really showcased your character or the show?
Yeah, well, I absolutely loved shooting the Shots and Salsa episode, which was the episode um, where Glenn was trying to get Amy to sell the salsa, and she assumed it was because she was the only Latina in the store. And when she refused, he gets the other Latina to do it. And then Amy's super offended by the character of the Latino that sells the salsa, and she's quite self-righteous, and I got it, and I understood her. And then kind of what I loved so much about that episode and what Justin did with it was, in the end, you know, Amy has her breaking point too, where she is willing to, you know, use her Latino-ness when she sees it fit to do so. And in the end, no one can kind of stand on any high ground. Everyone is a little bit uncomfortable in relation to race, you know. And I think it was a really interesting territory for our show to explore, and what allows us to explore these, you know, in a funny way, these conversations about culture and race and our assumptions of people, and you know, our own sort of hesitation to take on other people's expectations of what you are based on your race. I think we're able to do that because we have such a diverse cast. Our characters range, you know, we're all over the place. We have people from all kinds of backgrounds, and that gives us an advantage because we're allowed to you know, make jokes and do storylines that might be super sensitive if there weren't more, you know, if there weren't that many people represented in the cast. And then other episodes I really loved. I really loved the episode where the whole cast gets locked into the superstore. I think I can't remember which episode it is, but it was fun. It was a little bit of that Breakfast Club feel of, you know, people in one context, and then you all get stuck in this overnight context, and we're drinking and we're partying and secrets come out. And it was just a really, really fun episode to shoot. And I think a really fun episode to watch these characters sort of see new sides of each other when it's after hours and, you know, the lights go out and they're stuck in the store. And then I really, really was so excited about our season finale, where the story ends in those first 11 episodes, which is, I think I can do spoiler alerts. It's all,
go ahead,
it's all out there by now. If you haven't seen it, you're late. Catch up. We go on strike. We walk out. You know, so this cast, this family of characters that you come to know and love and not think of in a, you know, social change kind of way, are sort of driven to stand up for themselves. And I love that. I love that that's where it ended. I loved that we spent the season earning that moment, because we built these characters, we built the relationships, we provided lots of laughs, and now we get to kind of say something, you know, which is also the opportunity of setting the show in the superstore. You know, this superstore is this big, big metaphor for America, I think, and for kind of what it is to be an everyday man, you know, living and working in corporate America.
Yeah, it's incredibly relatable. You know, I think anybody who's had a job like that knows what it's like to have that be like your second home in a way, and have this surrogate family, but also this, you know, working under corporate America, you know. I mean, it's wonderfully relatable in that way. And I think that setting it in the superstore, I almost said superstore, is sort of uncharted territory in a way. You know, I mean, of the workplace shows that we've seen, we've never seen one set in like a Walmart or Target type place. And it provides some interesting settings for you guys. What's it like working in that set? I mean, have you guys got a set, or you work at a storefront or something like that? Or?
Yeah, we shot the pilot in an actual store at a functioning Kmart in Burbank, and that was really interesting because we had lots of funny interactions with the customers who'd come in and out and see me in a blue vest and ask me where the toilet paper was. And by day 7, I knew, so I would just tell them it's on aisle 4. and then when we started this season, we built this amazing store on these 2 stages. We have this incredible production designer, and you forget that you're not in a store, or, you know, when new people come into, you know, visitors come in and step into the store, I'm always reminded at how magnificent this set is, because it's just, it's a soundstage, and, you know, there are a lot of props involved in making something look like a real store. So it's a pretty grand set, and it's super fun to work in. It gives us it's large, the scale is really big, and, you know, it gives us this fluidity, you know, in the scenes where we're not always having to, you know, shoot from this angle, you know, cut, spend an hour setting up another lighting setup, and, you know, the store is large and the lighting is mostly the same, so it allows for the scenes to have a flow to them, and we aren't constantly stopping and setting up, and it allows us to kind of shoot. I think we're always shooting 3 cameras at the same time, which gives us the permission to improv and play around. And, you know, we have such incredible comedy people on this show: Colton Dunn, Mark McKinney, you know, Nico Santos. These are all professional comedians, and so that improv and that playfulness and setting up that environment where we can be playful and let the scenes flow is a really big part of the feel of the show.
Yeah, the ensemble work really is terrific in this. You know, like you said, it's all kinds of people, you know, are represented in this show. You know, and I think what's also really special about it is you mentioned, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Challenging expectations of people based on their race. I think this show challenges your expectations of people based on their professions. You know, so I think a lot of people who shop at these stores probably don't see the employees as more than just being there to help them. But you guys give such life to these people, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, that is absolutely one of the things I recognized right away in the writing of the pilot. Justin wrote these characters to be intelligent and to have gravitas and to have humor, and, you know, really wrote them as people, you know, not as a stereotypical, you know, expectation of what, you know, a high school dropout working at a Walmart would be like, whatever that very broad stereotype that we see over and over again used. He really, he just wrote them as human beings, and that's really, I think, what's so exciting. And there are so many opportunities to create something new and fresh when you realize that everyone is a person. You know, the person ringing you out at your whatever, your Ralph's or your Bonds or your Whole Foods, could be a very, very, you know, interesting person with a very interesting backstory of what got them here. And I think that's the fun of the show, is we do get to have the kind of, you know, episode to episode fun of whatever's happening in the store, but there's still the curiosity of what else are we going to learn about these people? You know, why is Garrett in a wheelchair? You know, why did Mateo come from the Philippines? You know, who's Nicole? You know, who's, sorry, I called her Nicole, the actress. Who's Cheyenne's family, and what kind of family does she come from? And so I think there's just so much to explore. And like I said, I've already basically written a novel about who Amy is to me and what her backstory is. But, you know, it has to all go through Justin before it makes it onto the screen.
Well, have you guys started, has the writing of season 2 started already? Or are these things that we can expect to see coming up?
The writers are in the room writing for season 2. They're just now breaking story. And I think you can absolutely expect that we will, you know, come back and address the strike. You know, I think that's sort of top of the list of where we're going to start off in season 2. But in terms of, you know, what the episodes are going to entail, I know about as much as you do. So, you know, the writers are they're just getting to work. So, yeah.
So lastly, I want to ask you, this being an awards website, we're always very interested to talk to previous awards winners, and you won an Emmy for Ugly Betty on your first nomination. Take us back to that night. I mean, what was it like? Did you expect to win at all, or?
No, I wouldn't say I expected to win. I would say that, you know, I knew there was a possibility. I was nominated, and I had won the Golden Globe and the SAG Award, so felt like there was some momentum, but you never know. You know, it's so funny looking back at that first time, because it was all so new and everything was so exciting. And, you know, being at the Emmys and, you know, being in a room with all these people that you've admired for so long, being there with my cast that I loved and getting to have this experience with them, it was overwhelming, the amount of input and emotion that I had around it. And so, you know, the actual like competition and winning part was sort of, you know, I couldn't even really get to that because I was so overwrought with just excitement and emotion about being there and being on this show that I loved so much and was being acknowledged. You know, interestingly, I think that first time around, because it was my first time being on television and my first time, like, I didn't have anything to compare it to, you know, so it was hard to know, like, to really understand like how rare this is and how special it was. I mean, obviously it felt special, but like I said, I didn't have any other experience to compare it to. I just remember really, you know, enjoying being there with my cast and celebrating the success of the show. I you know, the actual, you know, moment itself when I won the award and walked up and gave a speech feels like a dream. Like it feels like a haze, like literally like something I could have, was it real or was that a dream? Like it's hard to really differentiate it from kind of a hazy dream in my mind. But I remember not really being able to take it in. It was like there was so much emotion happening that I thought, oh my God, now I have to go up there and say something. And then I was like, oh, I'm talking too long. Nobody wants to hear me talk. I should get off the stage. Like, I just remember all these really unnecessary thoughts running through my mind that I wish that I would have been able to kind of quiet and calm down a little bit more so I could really like take it in and enjoy it. But I don't know how well anybody ever really does in those circumstances. It's just so overwhelming. And, you know, you can never really expect it, but you always kind of, you're hopeful and you're excited. And it's a very unique experience. And it was wonderful. And again, I think there was no way for me to know then how special and unique and just rare, you know, moments like those are.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on Superstore. Look forward to season 2.
Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Have a great day.